Hello everyone! This isn't my usual video, but a mobile game I play called Genopets needs a video tutorial, and I'm pretty good at tutorials. This is not a shill, I'm not being paid by them, I don't even have a referral code. Just noticed a content gap that I wanted to fill. So most likely you're here because you found Genopets, went to check how to play, and found the white pages, a massive wall of confusing text, with no real guide on how to navigate it. Hopefully this tutorial will help you get started, whether you want to be a free-to-play player, or want to spend money with the hopes of earning it back in the future. Before you get into the game too far, it's important to know, right now, it's in the building stage. There isn't a lot of play yet. Everything you do will be to get a head start when the game rolls out in a more full capacity. Just trying to set expectations if this video is the first you've heard of the game. First, how do you get access? It's in a closed beta, but everyone who plays can invite 10 others and are more than willing to give out their code. Just head over to the Genopets Discord and check in the Make a Friend channel. There is guaranteed to be tons of available codes. From here, download the game in the App Store or Play Store, put in the code, and meet your new pet. The gameplay so far is very simplistic. You walk to get steps, you convert those steps to energy by banking them before midnight, then spend that energy to level up your pet or harvest key. More on key later. The energy gain has a cap which increases as your pet levels, and also has diminishing returns. So, for instance, at level 1, you'll have gotten as much energy as possible for that day by walking 6,000 steps. By diminishing returns, I mean that every step over 1,000 becomes less and less valuable. If you walk 1,000 steps at level 1, you get 1,000 energy. But walking 6,000 steps, you'll only get 1,428. To keep it simple, just know the higher level your pet, the more energy you get per day. I'll put this chart here in the description. It'll show the step conversion rate for each level if you want more details. In the top left corner, you can also see a heart, food, and fun meter. Currently, these don't have a use in game, but in the future, you will need to keep all three topped up in order to get as much energy as possible. You get the heart meter up by petting your pet. This is done by putting 2 fingers on it and slowly moving until it plays an animation. Fun and food get raised by playing the appropriate minigame. It consumes items which you earn once a day by banking at least 1,000 steps. For now, I recommend just stockpiling the items so you have spares when they're a requirement later. That covers the basics. Eventually there will be combat and quests, but that's all there is to the gameplay currently. However, I mentioned harvesting key earlier. That's the utility token of this game, and the gateway to the earn part of Walk to Earn. To get key, you'll need to spend your energy in order to harvest it from what's called a habitat. Everything relating to habitats is done on the Genopets mainframe website currently. Depending on the habitat level, it will have a cap on how much key you can harvest a day. Here's an overview of those caps. It costs 50 energy to harvest 1 key. Once you've harvested the key, it takes 14 days to get to your wallet. You can spend more energy to speed up this process, but it's generally not recommended. I suggest not spending more than half your daily energy harvesting, so you can still level up your pet. And it's probably even smarter not harvesting at all until your pet is at least level 20. Many say 22. Each player can only harvest from 1 habitat every day. However, each habitat can have 2 sub-habitats attached to it. This makes it so the main habitat's key cap is increased to match the 3 habitats added together, with a 10% bonus on top. So for instance, if you had 3 level 1 habitats connected, the total key you could harvest each day is 99. To harvest the maximum from that habitat, you would need to spend 4,950 energy. So, how do you get access to one of these habitats? From here, the tutorial splits between free-to-players and payers. I'll start on the free-to-play end of things. If you would like to be free-to-play, you will need to rent a habitat from another player called a landlord. The easiest way to find a landlord is to join the official Discord, verify your account, then post an ad in the habitat rental channel. You'll want to include in this your pet level, steps you get per day, the amount of energy you keep stashed, the energy you get every day, and the type of habitat setup you want. You can also check the same channel and see if any landlords are looking for harvesters. They'll have a similar ad with the requirements they are looking for, and the split they're willing to give. It's the percentage of the key they keep versus you keep. Currently, the normal split is 80-20, meaning the landlord gets 80% and the renter gets 20%. But this is a completely player-controlled market. Depending where supply and demand is at, you could get a better or worse split. For instance, currently, the market is heavily in the landlord's favor, with renters willing to go to 15 or even 10%. To get the best deal possible, you just have to be patient, spend a lot of time in the Discord channel, and find a landlord who doesn't want to haggle and just needs a harvester ASAP. Once you've found someone, don't be surprised if they ask to see your step history, your Google Fit or similar app history. This is them checking to see if they see anything that would make them think you're a cheater. If the two of you can come to an agreement, they'll ask for your wallet address. Note, this is not your key or your passphrase. If they ask for either of those, they are trying to scam you. Don't give your passphrase to anyone. That's like Crypto 101. Anyway, so they ask for your wallet address and assign you the habitat. Make sure to visit the harvesting tab in mainframe every day to harvest a key. Click on max energy and drag the time slider all the way to 14 days. Do note, you will need a small amount of soul in your wallet to harvest. This amount isn't a fee, it's a hold that is returned to you after you claim the key at the end of those 14 days. You'll need about 0.12 soul in your wallet to harvest all 14 days. A bit extra wouldn't be a bad idea to cover any gas fees or rounding errors. So, quick recap. If you want to be free to play, your gameplay cycle is to walk, get energy, use energy to level up your pet. Once your pet is high enough level, use some of that energy to harvest key from a rented habitat. Now, the payer route. I need to get a little warning out of the way. This is not financial advice. This game was not designed with profit in mind, but rather gameplay. While you can profit, it is by no means a guarantee. Go in thinking, this will help me get a massive head start and resources when the game itself comes out, rather than, I'm going to be rich. With that said, to start with, you'll have to head to Magic Eden and pick a habitat you'd like. Now, what should you be looking for? As a beginner, the easiest thing to do is just immediately filter by brand new equals true. This will make it so only completely brand new habitats will show. Their lifespan and durability will be as high as they can be. From there, you just pick what level combination you want. Again, my recommendation is that the key's energy cost does not exceed half of your daily energy gain. A few advanced things. If you're buying a level 3 habitat, make sure to account for the seeds spawned metadata. When a habitat reaches level 3 for the first time, it produces seeds that can be turned into more habitats, and is one of the more advanced revenue methods. So if seeds spawned equals false, that means it still has seeds. And paying a bit extra might not be a bad idea. As a beginner, you will also probably want your habitats to be the same element. If you see a Genesis habitat, that is an early adopter habitat. It has an extra 10 keycap and allows you to make any element crystal. More on that later, but these sell at a huge premium. You can also do some math to find better deals. For instance, there's a slightly used habitat missing 10 lifespan, but is half a soul cheaper than a brand new habitat. Probably not worth the hassle for your first habitat though. I'd stick with the brand new ones. Though another method to save is to instead terraform a habitat. Though you do need to own at least one habitat before you can terraform. You can add the price of buying a seed and add it to the key, gene, and crystal cost to terraform to see if the savings are worth it to you. So, you have your habitats. Now what? First, you'll want to go to the mainframe and attach whatever sub-habitats you purchase to a main one. The only difference is whatever the main habitat is, that's the type of crystal you'll be able to refine. If you listened earlier and made sure your habitat elements matched, this won't matter. Also, if you got a Genesis habitat, make sure this is the main habitat to make use of its wildcard crystal crafting. As a habitat owner, there are two extra things you need to pay attention to: the lifespan and durability. The lifespan is how many days until your habitat goes dormant. The durability is how many times you can repair that habitat. This is where crystals come into play. It costs 1 crystal to repair your habitat. Each crystal costs 10 key. Each habitat can make 1 crystal per level. You always want to use all of your durability. If you do not, your habitat will not make nearly as much of a profit. From here, every day, just make sure to log in and harvest the max key using the max energy button. Refine your crystals and use them to repair your habitat. Once the habitat completely runs out of lifespan, you will need to revive it. So make sure you have enough key stocked up for that inevitability. Here's a quick chart of the costs associated with that. The quick recap of the easy pay-to-play then is to walk, get energy, level your pet. Once your pet is leveled enough, buy a habitat, harvest and repair from your habitat every day, then revive it when it goes dormant. Either route you chose, what can you do with this key? You can immediately sell it. This is the easy earn method. You could use it to craft augments, which is a bit more of a gamble since they vary in value greatly, but has larger earn potential. You could craft new habitats and rent them out, or just sell them. You could even stockpile it to use for unknown features in the future. But this covers all I want to in a beginner video. I'll make a guide on being a landlord and some other various strategies if people enjoyed this video. Feel free to ask questions in the comments or join the Discord where you'll find myself and many other helpful folks. And as always, stay fresh.